Well, I wore red today specifically to match the aesthetic style of this poster, guys. I hope you like my choices and admire my choices. Anyway, hey there guys, what's up, what's going on? It's all about Mike 18 here, back with another movie review. Guys, I'm going to say the same thing I said in my last two movie reviews. I'm going to sound like a broken record at this point, but I really don't care. It's all good. You guys love me still. I hope you do. Anyway. I just want to say that I apologize for the lack of videos in the last few weeks. I know I've just been super busy with school, but I am on break now, and I do have about 2 weeks free to myself that I am going to not only devote to finishing pre-production work on the film I'm working on, but also just devote time to getting as many videos up as I can and reviewing as many final films as I can see and review before the new year and before I have to post my top 10 list, because top 10 lists are coming, so I'm trying to watch a bunch of movies. So guys, that said, I thank you for just your patience and your support, and you guys are the best. But that said, guys, in this video I am going to be reviewing Jackie. That's right, guys. Jackie is the biopic on Jackie Kennedy that has been out, I think, probably for about a week or two. I went to one of my local indie theaters, and I watched this movie Saturday night. I caught a screening of it, and I'm really glad I got to see it. I was looking forward to it because a lot of people have been garnering a lot of buzz about this movie. Critics and everyone who's seen it has said that Natalie Portman's just flat out amazing. She's been getting a lot of Oscar buzz. She's already got nominated, I believe. I want to say she got Golden Globe nominated. I'm pretty sure she did. I haven't looked at the SAG nominees, but I'm pretty sure she got SAG love as well. That being said, I definitely was excited for this movie. I wanted to see where it was going to go. And if I'd like it as much as everybody else was just really raving about it. So that said, guys, let's get into the premise behind Jackie, and then I'll get into my thoughts and everything. So guys, Jackie, of course, follows Jackie Kennedy, and essentially it's set, I would say, the current time frame of this film is the present day of the film, 2 weeks after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy is meeting with a member of the press, a specific reporter. She's played by Natalie Portman. He is played by Billy Crudup in this film. And as he's interviewing her and asking her all these questions, we sort of flash back to all of the events that happened in the week or two prior, following John F. Kennedy's assassination. What directly happened afterwards when they got out of the motorcade with Lyndon B. Johnson's swearing into office. What specifically happened after all of that. Jackie Kennedy's interactions with the press and with the staff members of the White House and her family and everything. And it's all rooted throughout her perspective and just what she felt and how she had to deal with everything after her husband died and was murdered right in front of her, to add, which is just, yeah. Let's just say that I would not have wanted to have been in her position. That must have sucked. So guys, Jackie, yeah, that's essentially what Jackie's about. So in case anybody was wondering, what time frame specifically is this movie following? Is it just like a biopic of how Jackie Kennedy was the first lady in office? It goes in chronological order, leading up to JFK's assassination, and that's just the end of the movie. No, that is actually not. That's probably what I thought. That's probably what most people thought. But it is actually a clever way that they went about telling her story by rooting everything into this one setting where she's just being interviewed in throughout the rooms of a house by this one journalist or reporter, I'm guessing. And how we keep going back and forth to different events, different people that she went and met with during the course of the days after her husband's assassination. So I found that style and just the choices of editing of when to cut to certain scenes rather interesting throughout Jackie, and I was like, okay, this is different. This feels like a different type of joining of storytelling method to go about telling this her story, and I really bought it for the most part. I was really into it. And overall, I can without a doubt say that Jackie is a very intriguing, very haunting biopic on what essentially it means to deal with loss, but also deal with the pressures of just being a political figure and having to answer a lot of questions to a lot of people, and just how you're supposed to act a certain way for the public eye. I really love how this movie deals and delves into all of that, not just, I'm Jackie Kennedy, my husband's dead, I don't know what to do now, I'm just gonna be sad, you know? It has a lot more to say from a political perspective. And I feel that that is something this film did an amazingly thorough job into investigating what it was like for Jackie Kennedy these days after the assassination, and what she was going through, what turmoils were affecting her emotionally and mentally. And I think that that is what intrigued me the most about this film, apart from Natalie Portman's freaking stunning performance as Jackie Kennedy. She is amazing. She absolutely deserves any awards nominations she gets this award season. I think she's amazing. I think she captured this woman incredibly well. From everything I've known about Jackie Kennedy, her mannerisms and anything, I haven't really heard her talk or seen videos of her like online. Obviously, I was not born in the 1960s. That's about 30 years before I was born, guys, so yeah. But any like pictures or stills, I feel they not only capture Jackie Kennedy's spirit in her wardrobe, but from just like seeing like maybe just like brief like stock footage of her, or just like photos of her, I feel that she not only captured the look of Jackie Kennedy, but she captured an idea of a good idea of what I feel Jackie Kennedy would have gone through if her husband had just been murdered the days before in her lap while they were in the middle of riding in a motorcade. Okay, so I absolutely bought everything. Her reactions to everything feel so genuine. Just certain moments where she might break down, or maybe she's trying to hold it in, or maybe other scenes where, you know, she's just like in a daze, walking throughout the White House, touching certain things, doing certain actions that remind her of times with her husband or something. You know, it felt really just genuine and human to an extent. But what fascinated me the most about this character is just her plight throughout all of this. Her loss of faith demonstrated throughout several scenes and conversations she has with a priest character, or her just the fact that she feels so haunted by the loss of her husband. She doesn't know how to, she's very like her mind is very jumbled. She's switching back and forth in terms of dealing with funeral arrangements for her husband. She doesn't know if she wants a procession, or you know, she wants to, but then she changes her mind, and then, you know, it's just like, I feel that she captured the inner turmoil of someone's brain, and how they're just completely stressed out and completely just in this rut of just grief and loss, and not knowing how to deal with that, but also not knowing how to present herself within the public eye, because this is a big thing. She was the first lady of the United States. Now everybody looked up to her, not from just like a fashion sense, but she was like the most important woman in the United States. And now, how is she going to present herself to these people that looked up to her so much now that her husband is gone? And I just love how they chose to make a film from her perspective, from her standpoint, and root us in that character so well, and give us such an amazing glimpse into what it's like to have to go through that. And be scrutinized and looked at a certain way in the public eye, in the media, with other political figures, with her family, specifically with Bobby Kennedy, played by Peter Sarsgaard, who I thought was really good as John F. Kennedy's brother, Bobby Kennedy. And just how she has to deal with this in regards to her children and what she has to say to her children. I feel that this film just did a really solid job of capturing all of those aspects of loss and just grieving, and the idea of what to do next. And I thought that was great. And that's not only present in the performances, but it's also very present in the writing, which I think is also very, very good. The screenplay is amazing. This is a very dialogue-heavy movie, very dialogue-heavy. And the dialogue sequences where Jackie Kennedy's talking with an advisor or she's talking with the reporter, I think, are very well written, very well constructed, and really intriguing. I love all of the scenes she has with Billy Crudup when maybe she says something and she's like, well, I know you're not going to publish that, right? I love that. I loved going, it's like a behind the scenes look of what really happened when she was talking and interacting with these people. And I just really thought that was pretty fascinating to watch, just this life of this character in this horrible aftermath that she has to cope with. So all that worked really well for me. I feel this film was very well shot and very well directed. By Pablo Larrain, I want to say, is that how you pronounce his last name? It's either Pablo Larrain or Pablo Larrain. I'm 100% not sure, and I apologize if I'm butchering his last name. But I thought he did a very good job directing this movie. I love his style choices, his shooting style choices, and just overall directorial choices of blocking and everything, of where to stage these characters. I love how in certain scenes, instead of just cutting to another shot, maybe that the camera is more so handheld and it's sort of panning back between two characters who are talking to each other. That happened at least 2 or 3 times in the film, and it really just added to a certain tension or a feeling of uncomfortability between these characters, specifically between Jackie and Bobby Kennedy, and I loved that. In what is probably one of my favorite scenes of the whole year, and this is again another grand statement of a big, thematically, what this film is trying to say. I love what it tries to say about just the idea of feeling unfulfillment, of not being able to, as a political figure, of not being able to fulfill your dreams the way that you, or your goals or your ambitions the way you wanted them to. There's an amazing scene between Jackie and Bobby Kennedy where they're just talking about, I really don't want to give it away. It's not really a spoiler or anything. It's kind of hard to spoil this movie. You already know what has happened. John F. Kennedy got shot. The end. But it's more so or less, anything that specifically happens to Jackie Kennedy in this movie is more so or less a spoiler. But there's an amazing scene between her and Bobby Kennedy in this one room in the White House, and I loved it. Because they're just talking about the idea of legacy and what they did while they were in office and the idea of feeling unaccomplished or unfulfilled. And it's just an idea that just hit me so well in that moment. Political figures probably feel that a lot. Like, that is a really important thing to think about. Did I wrong a lot of people, or did I actually do a lot of good things and make a lot of good choices, or was I just a screw up, you know? Like, what more could we have done? The idea of looking back and on regrets and everything is just such a prevalent theme in that scene, and it's something that I think is recurring throughout the whole movie, and I loved that about this film a lot. That's one of my favorite scenes of the entire year, for sure, because it just came out of nowhere, hit me out of nowhere for me. I think overall, in general, another thing that just worked to this movie's strengths, not only in the cutting, but also in the score, and just bringing about this movie's tone, it felt very haunting and very devastating just to watch these characters just in this rut and just in this idea of uncertainty of they don't know what to do, they don't know what specific choices to make now regarding everything that has happened. It just feels very haunting, just not only dealing with the idea of grief, but the idea of that uncertainty of what do we do next? How do we present ourselves to the American public, to the press, to the media and everything? And I love just what this movie touched upon with that. And I know it sounds like I've been just absolutely sending this movie its praises. I do have but one flaw with the film, and it's that I got into the editing style and just the going back and forth in time and not telling a chronological story, essentially. Going back and forth between events of the aftermath of JFK's assassination with the current Jackie Kennedy being interviewed by a reporter. But what bothered me is I didn't really get where this film was going or what it was trying to say about Jackie Kennedy until about 30 minutes into the movie. So it definitely took me a while to grasp my attention, because I was like, okay, I'm into this. We see a glimpse of the assassination. We know she's being the reporter's asking her questions. Where specifically is this movie going? What is her plight now? It took me a while, other than the idea that she's just in shock and how amazing she is in the first 30 minutes, having to deal with the specific aftermath of, oh, I've got blood all over my dress. My husband's blood is all over literally, his guts are on my head and on my face, okay? And on my dress. Not only is that haunting in its own right, but what bothered me is that I didn't really get what this film was trying to say until after that mark. Then I started to realize this is a commentary on what it means to be a political figure in this sort of situation, and just dealing with just legacy issues and feeling unfulfilled, and just the idea of dealing with loss and grieving in that sense. Then I finally got into the movie, and I was into it from that point on. That said, though, guys, those are my thoughts on Jackie. I really enjoyed this movie. I would definitely recommend you guys check it out. Natalie Portman is flat out amazing. Definitely gives one of the best performances of the year, without a doubt. I thought she was fantastic in this movie. Guys, in the end, I'm going to give Jackie a solid grade of an 8.75 out of 10, or a grade of a B+. Definitely a solid grade. I would definitely recommend you guys check it out if it's in a theater near you. I know it's playing very limited right now, but if it does open near you, and you are a fan of Natalie Portman, and you are a fan of awards buzz, she's definitely going to be talked about this Oscar season. She deserves it. She was great. Definitely go out and check it out when you can. So guys, that's all I have to say about Jackie. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being patient with me, guys. I'll get some more reviews out to you this week and next. Guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.